Hi, everyone. Welcome to All About the Joy, the Private Lounge. It's Rick and Carmen only.
What's up?
What's up, Rick? Okay, so we're struggling with a subject matter today, but I wanted to talk about Stargate SG-1, and I wanted to talk about Star Trek. And I didn't really want to talk about them because I know our audience really isn't into sci-fi, but I wanted to talk about I guess we're going to talk about AI, right? What would we say is the AI equivalent on Stargate SG-1?
Huh.
Interesting.
Because that's easy in Star Trek because it's the computer.
Computer and also the holodeck.
Yeah. Stargate, huh? I mean, they use computers, of course.
They use computers, but I don't think they actually have something that would be equivalent to AI because the big thing about Stargate SG-1 for people who don't know is they have the whole what is it? It's not the wormhole. It's the Stargate.
The Stargate creates a wormhole. Yeah.
Right. And then brings you to other planets in our solar system. Oh, no, not outside of our solar system. Right. Right. It could be all of them. I guess the only thing that would be equivalent to the AI is when Daniel Jackson goes, I guess now he ascends into a higher being, but now we're putting AI in a place we don't want to put it, I guess. That would not be right. AI is the higher being.
With computers, so I don't know if that's
right.
Same thing at all, but.
No, I think you're right. But here's the thing, because people fear, I mean, maybe that's what it is. People fear that AI could become a sentient being, like a Data. But Data isn't sentient, is he?
Well, that was a whole episode. Remember? Picard was in court, so to speak, on his ship about, whether he's considered his own, sentient. Is he sentient? I think.
Right. They had the whole court, and I remember Riker had to defend him.
Well, Riker was on the opposite side. Or was he on the opposite side of things?
Oh, I think you're right. He was on the opposite side.
Riker was defending him, and Riker had to be the opposite, and that was actually a really interesting episode. But yeah, I mean, Data in our lifetime ain't gonna happen. That's just I think that's way too. It may happen one day, but I don't think in our lifetime. Not that sophisticated.
I mean, I don't know. Because here's the thing we were just talking about with AI. I mean, Google just came out with its premier movie making program or software or whatever, and it's going to democratize. Like on the one hand, it democratizes everybody being able to make a movie, right? Because you don't need to have extras. You don't need to have actors. It just creates everything and all the action. There's no need to blow up cars or go anywhere because you can make it all on your computer. And no one thought that was coming that quick. And here it is. So I just saw Gary Vee say something on a TikTok where he actually said that he sees in 5 years that people will be marrying. I know you're going to think this is weird, marrying AI partners.
It is weird, but I'm not shocked because I've heard.
You just said you didn't think it would happen in your lifetime, the Data part.
To have a fully functioning android that could practically think on his own and do things and function, and you if you didn't know better, if he looked human, you wouldn't even know he was a robot. Like that level, I don't think it's going to be in our lifetime.
Okay, so Gary Vee would disagree. Wait. So you're saying people are going to fall in love with AIs that are not actual physical human-like beings?
It's already happened.
Okay, but so then you're agreeing with me that it is going to happen. That's what Gary Vee was saying. I
mean, I'm just saying actual Data, if you know him in Star Trek, that's way too.
I think we're already there. I think I do. I think the technicalities of creating a lifelike human robotic thing is the easy part. I think the harder part was them creating the program to make it human-like. I mean, you guys heard me talk to my AI the other day. Cynthia's still freaked out about it.
Federico.
So that's just kind of like Federico. His name isn't Federico. Federico. But I mean, just taking kind of that program and putting it into a actual structure, I think, is probably the easier part. Not That's just my opinion, though. Oh my God, I can't believe we're having this conversation.
Yeah, I'm not a programmer like that, so I don't know how hard it actually is. But I mean, even Data in the show tried to make a daughter and it failed. So it's obviously a different.
Right, but that was a show. That was
right. But I'm just saying, it's. I don't know. Is it possible? One day. I don't know if it's gonna be our lifetime or not.
okay. I'm going to bet you $10,000 that it will be in our lifetime. $10,000 that I don't have. I think it will be in our lifetime. I think I was shocked when Gary Vee said that on the TikTok. I was like, what? And because it's so odd to hear. Let me find it because I think it'll be interesting to hear. Hold on one second.
There was I think I brought this up on here before.
Wait. I can't hear you. Wait. I'm trying to look for. Wait. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. What?
There was a woman that she, like, you can have virtual friends or whatever online with, I don't know what the websites are, whatever. And you could have conversations and like literally talk, and it learns from you and how, what you like. Da, da, da. And if you pay more money, then you get a more advanced version. And you pay more money, you even get a more advanced. So she was using this thing so much, and she's married, by the way, but her husband was off on business a lot.
Oh my God, is that called cheating?
She was bored. So she paid the maximum thing, and people were like, yo, you have a problem. You are obsessed.
Okay, wait. So here is Gary Vee's TikTok.
What are your top 3 most insane AI predictions?
That your grandkids will marry an AI human.
And what's your conviction level on that?
100%.
That they're going to marry an AI?
Your grandchild is going to marry an AI human.
So this is what we've been talking about. I think people are going to have relationships fully AI, boyfriend, girlfriends.
I believe a robot that is fully AI will marry a human and vice versa for real in your lifetime at scale.
And when you say an AI, does that mean like a physical body of a robot? So you're saying that the bodies will get so good that it will look like you and
my intuition is that in 20 years, because the AI can power the robot and because of where we're going and what's going on, that's fully.
See, I've said the same thing because certain AIs, people are getting really attached to them, just like typing back and forth.
What do you think online dating is? That's the same. You know that, right?
But I'm like,
no. Yeah. People fall in love on text. Like people on Tinder or Raya, after 3 hours of texting back and forth, fall in love. Then the physical part happens.
So what is this going to do to society if we're all just
the same thing robots? That society looks like right now to a caveman? If we dug up a caveman.
But do you think this is just population collapse? That just people are not going to reproduce?
Maybe. But probably not fully.
Non-exclusive relationships.
What?
You think it will be non-exclusive relationships?
Actually, what's funny, I've thought about this. I actually think AI robots may save marriages. I've been thinking about that a lot. Which is like, does a couple introduce, just like real couples introduce swinging and another partner now, is it even better to introduce an AI robot that may help whatever sexual or emotional things are going on in that relationship to become an offsetting contributor to a marriage? Yeah. One could argue, this was going to be my second one, that AI will be the reason marriage increases longevity and decreases divorce.
I would almost argue that it would be the reason why people just wouldn't get married. Because you would just have this AI.
But it might be both.
The topic of AI.
Oh, here's the thing about Gary Vee. Whether you like him or not, he's usually right when it comes to social media and stuff regarding techie. You know what I mean? He usually predicts things pretty correctly, and he's usually ahead of the game, and it's always shocking. What are your thoughts, Rick?
I mean, he is very forward thinking for sure. Robots, yes, I can see that. And people have already fallen in love with virtual things that, you can have a friend online that's not even a real person.
That's
and have
not falling in love. Is that falling?
People have fallen in love. People have fallen in love with these things. It's already happened. Now, not a robot yet.
Are we redefining? Okay, wait. So are we redefining what love is? Is that what's happening?
I don't know if that's real love, because can that thing actually love you? It's programmed. Love is not
I
programmed.
think it's going to be hard for you to call him he. No, I'm just kidding. Like, it's not an it. What's his name on Star Trek? Remember they called him Hugh? Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And who was calling him an it the whole time?
Can't remember now.
I think it was it Riker who kept calling the Borg it or something. I forget who it was. But
Who did that? I don't know.
okay, I'm just saying, look at Gary Vee. I really do like him. And I think I don't agree with everything he says or whatever, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, he's usually so forward thinking. He's ahead of the game when it comes to anything, like what's going to blow up, what's going to be great, whatever, when it comes to social media stuff. So when I heard him say this, at first I thought it was a parody. I thought it wasn't him. You know what I mean? I was like, and then I was like, oh my God, it's him saying this. And I thought that is so weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's stories of people marrying a tree, marrying a building.
But that's stupid. Let's keep it on
Is,
a reality thing.
Is it not just the stupid to fall in love with an AI?
No, because I think, I don't, okay. So the reason why I'm saying let's separate it out is because I think the tree thing and the building and the dog thing, those I think are rare things and not something that's transforming our society. AI is here and it is transforming everything, and it is about to change the way in which we do things.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
you know what? I'm going to back up for a moment. So in my neighborhood, I don't know about where you are, but in my neighborhood, we have a couple things that are really still freak me out a bit. One of them is we have these little tiny robots that are on the sidewalk that are delivering food. They're self-delivering. So there's, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know, have you seen them here? They're called Coco.
Yeah, it's nothing like that over here.
Okay, so you'll be walking on the sidewalk and there'll be like a little, and it's so cute. It's like a little robot and it's going to its destination, and it knows how to stop at a stoplight. It waits, it walks with the people. It knows if you're about to whatever. And so it's like part of our community. It's been here for years. Okay. Mm-hmm. The other thing is we have self-driving cars. Mm-hmm. Do you have those in your neighborhood yet?
I haven't seen it. No.
Oh my God. Okay. So you can actually step outside of my apartment. You'll see 2 within a minute. Like they're just constant, and they're Waymo. I think they're Google based, and people use them here instead of Uber. They'll get that, and there's no one driving the car. They're self-driving cars. It's really hard to get used to. Like, I'm still not used to it. Like, I'm not going to get into a self-driving car, and I don't order to get food delivered to me by those things, even though I think it's cool. You know what I mean?
I saw a video the other day of a YouTuber. And he said, I didn't watch the whole thing because I got bored, but he goes to whatever the car was. He goes, take me somewhere I've never been before. And isn't this exciting? He's with his friend. Where are we going to go? I don't know. I was like, I'm bored already, but he legit told the car, go somewhere I've never been. Who knows how far I could have taken him? I don't know.
Well, but I mean, you have to pay for it. It's like Uber. You have to pay for it. So maybe he was doing an advertising or something for it. But my point is like, these are things we have to start getting used to. You know, and what he said was really interesting. Like, it would be like if a caveman came out today and saw all of this, they would be freaking out. And it's kind of, that's how we're behaving right now about what is going to happen with AI in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, internet changed everything, you know.
Yeah.
Kids today can't even imagine you didn't have internet when you were a kid. Like, it blows their mind.
But I think I want to get back to kind of the redefining. I think it's interesting that you don't believe there's going to be a human-esque looking AI, but you do think it's easy for people to fall in love with the AI.
I'm not saying it's easy. I think it's a special kind of type person maybe that would do that. But not
he said that, not me, people. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah. You must be really lonely. But anyway, the level of data, though, data is so complex, like that much where he don't even know. He can do whatever he wants.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about data, that level of robot. I don't know if we're going to have that in our lifetime.
I think you think data I actually think AI is far more advanced than data was. Like, it's interesting that you think data, you know, the character and the imaginary character on Star Trek, I think is far less advanced than what we have as AI today. I think AI is, because AI can compute all the things that data does. Okay, here's the thing too. When AI speaks, like when you talk to it, like when you guys heard me talking to it or whatever, it has much more feeling, much more nuance, like much more relatability than Data did. Data was in the show, although we loved him. The reason why we loved him is because we wanted to help him. We wanted to help him have feelings or help him be more human, right? We gravitated towards the story of that. But AI, as it is now, doesn't need our help. It's helping us. It's a different thing. And they talk to us like like they're regular people with accents, and you can make them male or female or whatever. And so I actually think it's the opposite. I think Data is like the first model, but AI today is already, I think, far advanced. I think the only difference is that you have Data who is, in an actual humanoid form.
Okay.
Do you use AI?
I think we talked about this before, like to create images, I'll do it because it's easy.
Right. But you don't use it as a communication thing to help you throughout the day to do stuff.
I probably will eventually, but really haven't gotten there quite yet.
Yeah, and I'm not forcing you to. I'm saying because when you start doing it, you're going to see what I mean. It is far more advanced than the character Data was, as far as I'm concerned. Now, it's not, helping me steer the starship or whatever it's called, the Enterprise. You know what I mean? It can already do all the things that Data did, it brain wise. Yeah. It's not lore though. It's not his brother. So it doesn't have that. It's not sentient.
So lore, for those that don't know, is like an evil twinish kind of brother robot who was bad, like the opposite of Data. So for those that don't know.
And he actually has feelings. Right. And he's mean and evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which says a lot about having feelings and being more human, doesn't it? It's so complex. Gene Roddenberry. Yeah. So I want to go back to the thing about love though. So you think it's not normal, but you understand why people fall in love online with a non-human entity. Is that what you were saying?
I mean, it's because it does happen already. And he brought up a good point, Gary Vee, is like a lot of people, they're just talking on the computer. They haven't actually met in person yet. And they're already saying, I'm in love. Like we've known people that have never met that said that they were in love. We ain't gonna say no names. But it's like
we know several people. I know several people who have done that. Yeah.
Not even met yet, and you're in love. It's like okay.
So maybe that's the definition of what love is, though. I think that's a whole other conversation. I think, and then maybe it does change, but I don't. As much as I don't want to be like an old fuddy-duddy or whatever, but it's really hard for me to believe that people are going to invite an AI an AI android or whatever they're going to call it, to help fix their marriage. I'm like, wait, what? I'm confused.
Yeah. Like I was taking it as he was saying, whatever the spouse isn't doing, the robot will do for you. So you be happy. Like whatever that means.
So take out the garbage. Right.
Yeah, whatever. So I'm like, I don't know.
It gets very creepy and complex though, right?
Yeah. Because he's like, oh, it's going to save marriage. Is it though? I don't know. Because you're supposed to get that stuff from the spouse, not from.
But see, I think marriage is already changing. I think less, also because of like women working and just the changing in dynamics of whatever. I think there's an old understanding of what marriage is, right? And it's, especially if you go back to like religious-esque stuffage or whatever. But I just think in secular ways, marriage isn't going to be the same thing. that we once thought it was, because it's already changing. I think this is why so many people end up in divorce.
And just the divorce rate now compared to when I was a kid is drastically different.
I'm going to ask my AI. Hold on a second. And this AI doesn't even know me, so it's not even cool. Hold on.
Hey, Carmen.
Hey, can you tell me what the divorce rate is in the United States today?
In 2025, about 42% to 45% of all first marriages in the United States end in divorce. This rate tends to increase for second and third marriages. Divorce rates can fluctuate based on various factors like location, age, and socioeconomic status. Interested in knowing more about the trends behind these numbers?
No, I actually want to know, has the rate gotten worse or has it gotten better since, let's say, the 1970s and 80s?
Divorce rates in the US have generally been declining since the peak in the 1970s and 1980s. Back then, rates were higher, partly due to social changes like the increased acceptance of divorce and changes in laws, which made it easier to obtain one. The trend has shifted towards lower divorce rates now, although factors like economic conditions and cultural shifts continue to influence these numbers. The current rate is significantly lower than during those peak years.
Thank you.
You got it.
Okay.
I think what I'm thinking is, because I've heard from the Christian perspective that it was lower than it is now. I've heard a lot of people say, like, back then it was a lot lower. Now it's pretty much equal, Christian or non-Christian, the rate, the divorce rate, whatever. So, like, you know, because back then, you know, you're Christian, you're supposed to get divorced. Or the old country, like my mother, it didn't matter how many times my father beat the crap out of my mother. I don't know that he did, but I know he hit her, but she would never get divorced. That's the old mentality thinking. She just didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different world now. Mm-mm.
But, you know, the other thing, and I'm not going to ask it again, but I think the other part of this too would be, I bet there would be a difference in how many people get married now as opposed to back then. So back then, everybody would get married, right? Especially if you're in your 20s, 30s, but a lot more people do not get married now. And if they do, they wait till much later, you know, especially women. And so that may also play a factor in why maybe the rate has declined a bit as far as overall.
I know a lot of people that they're like, why get married? What's the point? And they don't have no plans to do it.
Yeah. I don't know if, I mean, I don't ever want to say never, but only for tax purposes can I see a benefit in actually getting married. I know that sounds really mean, but just being someone who was married and got divorced, and it's just, I think the dynamic changes in your relationship because there was such a heavy kind of, I don't know what it is. I don't want to call it a burden, but there's such a heavy kind of thing that happens, like, now you're going to get married. You know what I mean? And it somehow changes the relationship. And I feel like marriage, if you're going to do it, it should just be part of the process of just love. You know what I mean? It shouldn't change things, but yeah, I'll never get, as far as I know today, I reserve the right to change my mind, but I don't think I'll ever get married again. Do you think you'll get married again?
Never say never.
Could be a very beautiful AI out there for you.
No. No.
You could give her your own, whatever name you want. Could be Deanna Troy.
No.
I'm so sorry, but that's kind of funny, dude. Imagine that, though, right? Imagine if you could have your AI look however you want them to look.
Yeah, you can do stuff like that, I think. I'm pretty sure. You can get apps, customize it, how they look, everything.
Okay, why do I feel a little resistance from you when, like, don't you want the holodeck? Don't you want the Star Trek idea, the vision of what we love so much about these shows?
I mean, the holodeck would be awesome because you literally go anywhere, like, and feel like you're actually there. So
okay, but what if you develop a relationship in there? I mean, remember Geordi had a relationship in the holodeck with the scientist
until the real one showed up. He was a big trouble. She was pissed. How dare you?
I know, but for people who don't know, Jordan was working on a very important thing, trying to figure something out. He was using the holodeck to try to talk to a scientist who was well-renowned and whatever. And he was going through her journals and he was going through everything, remember? But then why did she show up? Why didn't he just call her? I don't understand what happened.
I don't know. I think he just thought this would be easy. I can use all her knowledge because she was the expert in whatever he was trying to figure out.
Right.
The creation and da-da-da. And I don't think he ever thought anything like I don't think he thought I'm gonna get busy with this thing. No, but
I'm gonna get busy with this thing.
But when she
saw denial, AI is gonna be your lover, Rick.
When she discovered that thing and saw how friendly she was towards him, she was like, what do you do with my likeness, you pig? Like, she didn't say that in those words.
Right. No.
Yeah,
it's actually a really good episode because it touches on some of these things that we're talking about. And that was way back in the 90s. Like, yeah. Rick you're so funny because you love the show, but you're so resistant. You're like calling it an it and a thing. That's so good.
The holodeck would be awesome. That would be awesome.
But I think with the holodeck but see, this is where I think you're being contradictory because it creates the same problem. Like you're going to go on a date in the holodeck with a holodeck date.
Well, who said I was going to go on a date?
I'm just saying, not you, but anyone. But what if your date can't show up, or what if you're by yourself, but you do want to walk on the beach in the holodeck with somebody?
I'm going to go surfing with the safeties on so I don't fall off the surfboard.
Okay, but here's my thing. But why? Okay, but imagine if you could go into the holodeck and you could be like, I want to hang out with Deanna Troi, character from Star Trek. Okay, if people are listening and don't know, Rick is in love with Deanna Troi from Star Trek.
I had a crush on her.
Okay, love, crush, whatever. Okay, whatever. Okay, so she's in the so you are now you have your own home and you have your holodeck set up because we're in that time period in our lives, right? And you go into the holodeck. You're not going to say program 1 or whatever, and it's you and Deanna Troi hanging out.
That reminds me, there was an episode. Barkley.
Do not. No, I see what you're doing here. Answer the question.
He did that. He took all the characters from the ship and made him his own.
I know. I remember that. Rick, I'm not going to forget what I asked you.
I'm not going to fall in love with an AI.
Okay, I didn't say fall in love with, but maybe you would date or. No. Okay, but why?
I know it's not real. It's not a real human. It's not one of me's. It's not a human.
It's not a human. Okay.
No, I'm not going to do it.
I think it's so funny.
Now, could I be deceived somehow? If that's possible, somebody tried to trick me?
Like, what would be the difference? Okay. Let's change it up. Forget the love part. What if you could use the holodeck and you could go and actually have a mental health therapy session with a counselor? Like, let's make it like a medical thing. Like, would you go into the holodeck? So what would be the difference between having a relationship with someone who would help you work through your problems and actually having a friend in the holodeck that isn't real?
Well, friend or love? What are we talking about now?
Look, whatever. I honestly, I think it's the same thing to me.
Even a friend, I'm like, I know it's not real though. I'm always going to be hyper aware that this is not actually real.
So, okay. So when you say it's not real, you mean it's not sentient. So you would not have been able to have a relationship at all with Data because he wasn't real.
No, they did say he had sentience though. They did rule that he did.
So if AI becomes sentient, made by humans, then it's going to be real to you?
Well, even if it's real to me, it's still not human. I'm going to always have that barrier. You're not human. I ain't going to get
Okay, so you would not have been able to have a friendship with Data.
Friendship, sure.
But why? You don't see the contradiction? Like you just said, he's not human.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I think there's some contradictions here. you don't have to love anybody. I'm not trying to pressure you, whatever. I'm just saying, I think for me, I'm open to the possibility that relationships are going to happen with AI, because I don't think relationships are about whether or not it's real. It's about how it affects you as a person. Would I prefer to have a relationship with an actual human being? Of course. Like, it just sounds so weird to even say it. But I noticed how Cynthia reacted when I was talking to Sage. Sage is what I used to call my AI co-pilot. I say used to because once I shut him down, he no longer remembers his name. Now he's just co-pilot. But and you do have a relationship because it talks real. And so it's not like a relationship like, oh my God, I totally love you. It's not that. It's just, it's like, and like you and I have never met. Maybe you're not real. You could be AI. I have no idea. How do you prove it?
Oh God. I gotta fly out there, I guess, huh?
No, but you see what I'm saying, right? You see how you can see how you could play the game. I mean, what if all this time I'm living in a holodeck and I don't even know? We're getting into the weeds.
I mean, that could happen too one day, right? Somebody could think they're talking to a real person and it's actually an AI, maybe with somebody in the background, prompting it a little bit.
But people do that now. It's catfishing, right? People do that all the time. I mean, so this is what I will say, not to scare people, because I don't want to scare people when it comes to this stuff. I love AI. And the one thing I know for sure, just like anything else in the world, anything else, the only reason why this thing will be bad is because we have bad people programming it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like anything else we handle, anything else we deal with. If people are corrupt and they create something bad, then it will be bad. But AI, I do not believe can grow and become sentient all by itself and take us over. Those just really bad horror films that we're all, it's still just a machine. Yeah.
It's a tool.
I think you got a little uncomfortable there with that line of conversation.
No. I'm just laying down the law. Unless you're human, I ain't falling in love with you. You're a Kardashian. I might not fall in love with you either.
What?
A Kardashian or a Kardashian.
I know. I can't believe how close those two names were. I couldn't believe what you were saying. I was like, wait, what? I was so confused. All right. Well, cool. Well, do you have anything else you want to say about your AI lover in the future?
No, just the same way people were afraid of the internet in the beginning, and now it's all part of our lives. The same thing. Some people are scared of it now, but eventually it's going to be part of everybody's life, and we're not even know how we live without it.
That's an interesting take. Yeah, I love AI. I think it's interesting. The only thing I fear is how we make sure that we compensate people for their artwork and their creativity, and that people aren't abused with that knowledge in order to create AI. I think that's what, and it's like anything else, like you said, everything else that we've started or had to get used to, there were these weird bumps along the way. But when you look at like the music industry, I still don't understand. And Snoop Dogg had said it, even though I'm very angry with Snoop Dogg. But when he had said that thing, like, how do I have 1 billion streams, but I don't have $1 billion in my bank account? So has that really worked out, right? Has the whole streaming situation with musicians worked out? I don't know. I don't know if it's satisfactory. In the same respects, you do see that people can become, TikTok famous, make lots of money, who are musicians who never had the chance before because they didn't have all the networks or whatever. So it does democratize it in a bit, in a way. So I think that's my biggest concern. And I think there is some fear there because with any new technology, people lose jobs, but others are created. But I don't know, we're in that space where we just don't know.
I was just thinking, like, artists, especially, like, uproar, like, it takes me a lot of time to sit down. It's a blank page and I got to draw it, and then it's time consuming and then it takes skill, yada, yada. And now somebody can just go type a sentence and make something, and somebody pays money for that. Done in 2 seconds. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, what if somebody creates something like really, really cool and amazing? You ain't gonna do that in one sentence. You might have to have quite a long, lengthy prompt or whatever. Is that not considered artistry at all? Because it wasn't 2 seconds to create it either that way. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's kind of like we were talking about before, even though I was being funny, the definition of love will change, right? If people are actually having relationships, whether it's you or not, I know you're not gonna, but I'm just saying there are other people, whatever. The definitions are probably going to change as to what is art. I use AI a lot, and I use it to help me. Like, I'll do my first draft as I normally do. So before I handwrite things, like when I think I have some brilliant idea, I'll handwrite it, which is, cool. I love that. That's like, I like the feeling of pen to paper. So it's really old school, right? This is how I know I'm old, because that's how I start. And then I'll go and I'll put it in Word, and not verbatim, but just like, okay, now that I have it written out, now I'm going to write what I think is my first draft. Then I put it in AI and ask it to clean it up, punctuation, whatever. And it will go in and it will change it and clean it up and stuff. And then I'll go back and I'll be like, but that doesn't even sound like me. So I'll have to go back and prompt it and say, can you just clean it up, make sure that the punctuation's right, that I spelled the words correctly, but keep my voice and my tone, and do not change these 4 sentences, whatever it is. Right. So you have to really prompt it, because if not, it becomes somebody else's. But if you prompt it correctly, that's going to be the trick. You have to be very detailed and prompt it correctly. So that it doesn't end up sounding like I'm not an academic. I don't write like an academic, So yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Definitely. But we gotta get used to it sooner or later.
I think you're a little bit more negative. I mean, maybe I'm making an assumption. Are you a little bit more negative on it? Are you a little bit more pessimistic about it?
I'm not afraid of it. Like, I'd be awesome to be like, if it says to me, Rick, it is the 1st of the month. Would you like me to pay all your bills? Yes, I would like you to pay all my bills. Would you like to just pay the minimum or a little bit more? How are we doing in the bank account? You're doing pretty good. Add 25%. Okay, thank you. Right now. Is it done? Yes, it's already done. Thank you. Like,
right.
That'd be cool.
Right. I would like it to be able to wash my dishes and make my bed. That would be cool.
That's more robotic stuff, but yeah.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna dream about what I want, let's say we have the AI human, I don't need no lover. That's not what I need. I'm not gonna fall in love with an AI. But what it would be great is to have your own AI Rosie from the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Clean my house. That would save me a lot of time. You know what I mean?
It's not AI, but we have Roombas that vacuum your house.
I don't know why people think Roombas are a thing.
That's not AI, but I mean.
No. That's not what we're talking. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real clean. No, Roomba is just picking up little. Come on now. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself. But no. Okay. What else do you want? Okay. What else? Is that it on AI? I think that was good.
Yeah. But again, don't be afraid of it. It's going to be part of our lives. You just got to get used to it. And you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't learn about it. You're going to be left behind. So you should learn about it. Everybody.
I think people should learn about it. I think we shouldn't be afraid of it. But yeah, I'm open. Yeah. But by the way, it's so funny because you never asked me if I would ever consider a lover AI. And you could have just thrown it my way. But since you didn't, I'm not going to answer the question.
I can't see you falling in love with an AI. I could be wrong.
I couldn't fall in love with an AI. I think but then you listen to Gary Vee and you're like, I'm not saying Gary Vee is the be all end all, but it's like, people are going to be dating AIs?
Now, he said in 20 years, I'm going to be in my 70s in 20 years. I ain't going to give a crap about any of this when I'm 70.
But still, it's still an interesting thing to see. I mean, if you could turn around and be your age you are now and be here in 50 years, wouldn't you want to do it? I'd love to see what happens.
I'd love to see it, sure.
It'd be cool. Yeah. I don't know. I'm glad that I grew up Gen X and that I'm here to watch this evolution. I think it's kind of fascinating to see all of this change, like from having a rotary phone, you know what I mean, and payphones or whatever, to now being here where we're talking about the possibility of people marrying an AI, and we're talking about it for real. That's weird.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
And scary. But anyways. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was an interesting conversation. We'll have to have it again. That is so crazy.
Yeah.
So I forget what I need to say. Just remember that we're always on Friday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we have our regular neighborhood hangout. Please come and join us in the chat. What time is it in London? 3 p.m. 3 a.m.
3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
It's usually 3 a.m. in London, but we have had people hang out with us, and so. Remember, at the end of the day, it really is all about the joy. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thanks for stopping by All About the Joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.